Hi, how are you? Welcome to Gold Nugget, JAW_success. This is your first time to the channel. Let me welcome you if you have already subscribed. Let me thank you for joining me on this growth path. Today, my nugget is lead. Now, many of us as individuals, we think to ourselves that we cannot lead. We don't have the prerequisite skills, we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the resources, and surely we don't have the qualification, so to speak. And as a result of that, we can't lead. Well, today, I am not asking you to lead so much others. I am asking you to lead yourself. When we were young, many of us could not do certain things because we were under the supervision or the guidance of others. Whether it was our parents, our guardian, or the system as a whole, because there are those who are listening or following this channel that were in foster care, and some came up the hard way because they end up in juvenile detention centers and ultimately prison. So we were always under the restriction, guidance, or watchful eyes of somebody. And as a result of that, the choices we made, the decisions we made, we always bear those individuals in mind, and we end up where we are. For some of us, where we are is good, and we're still ambitious enough to want to go further. And I just mentioned a word a while ago, ambitious, because for us to lead ourselves, we must have ambition. We must have this personal drive of our own to say, this is what I want and this is how I am going to get it. In other words, if you or I don't think that we have control over our lives or over something in our lives, it pushes us in a position where we fail to command or to drive forward. And if there is anybody who we want to respect us, if there is anybody we want to command their respect, is ourselves. Many times we want other people to respect us. But if we don't have ambition to push forward our own self, it simply says we don't respect ourselves enough to do what we say to ourselves we are going to do. Well, in this nugget, I am saying to you, lead. But none of us can lead if we know where we want to go. And ambition, having that foresight and that insight to see ahead and to see within the structure of where we want to go, the problems that may arise, and put certain things in place to either mitigate, counteract, or just simply deal with these problems. And many of us, we would want to lead ourselves, but we only want to lead ourselves when it is nice, when it is safe, when the tide, as it were, is flowing in our favor and the wind is blowing in our sails. We do not want to lead ourselves when times get hard and times get rough. Well, if there is any time you need to lead yourself, is when times are hard and rough, when nobody else wants to, as it were, be around you, when every resources seems to be out of place and going elsewhere. Now, let me say this to you. If we are going to lead ourselves, not only must we know where we want to go, but we must also put some things in place to control ourselves or to keep ourselves on track. A lot of us, the way we grew up with certain control or the lack thereof. And because of those controls or the lack of those controls, we end up where we are. Now, as adults or as individuals, we can not live our lives hoping that other people will put controlling mechanism in our lives for us. We must be the ones to put in those controls and decide and determine that this is what I am going to control and this is what I am not going to control. In other words, we put rules in place to live our lives. And there are certain rules that we put in place that if we don't put them in place correctly, we end up still living a wasted life because we end up enjoying the time when we should be working, and then we turn around and fret over life, worry why life is not going the way we want it to go. So in this nugget, I am saying to you, lead yourself. Lead yourself by putting in controls into place. Let your ambition guide you. Many of us grew up with an idea of what we wanted to become, and over time, because of the vicissitudes or circumstances of life, we end up being detoured or detracted from what we want. But now that we're at a particular place in our lives, in one nugget, I've already said the only time we don't have do-over is when we are adults. However, even though we do not have do-over when we are adults, we still have what is called adjustments. Doesn't matter what age we are, we can adjust our lives based on our ambition at the moment. Some of us have lost our ambition along the way. And because we have lost our ambition along the way, we gave over the reins of leadership for our lives to somebody, to something else. Many individuals have given over the reins of their lives to the hope that they may win the lottery. Many individuals have given over the hope of their lives or the reins of their lives to gambling, to drinking, smoking, and all of those kind of stuff, which in the end further pushes them into hole, give them short-term pleasure, but no long-term benefit, no legacy as it were. So in this nugget, I am simply saying, if you want to leave a legacy, if you want to leave something that somebody else will benefit from, lead yourself. Set a destination, set a course, put the things in place that will control the path. In other words, determine where you're going, which route you're going to take, and go. When we were young children, we would probably say something to the effect of, "Mommy, I want to become a lawyer or a doctor or an architect." And because of where mommy's resources was, our daddy's resources are where we were in the foster home, in the juvenile correction center. Because of these places, probably even in a ghetto, in a slum, we probably came into a family that had a set course for our lives. And so they told us, no, you can't be this, you can't do that, and you can't go there. But now, as an adult, with the key for your own life, if you have not, even if you have wasted your youth, you still have this opportunity to say, I am going to adjust. I am going to put certain things in place, and I'm going to lead myself from where I am to where I should be. There's an old saying that says, we can lead the horse to the water, but we cannot force it to drink. Some years ago, I heard somebody say, no, you can't force them to drink. But if you are fed up with the way they are behaving, push their head down in the water and let them drown. Now, this might not be a good saying, but I'm saying to you, force your life to move from where you want. Sometimes we don't want to drink the water because the water is not the kind of water we want to drink. Well, you're at the place in your life now, you're at the age in your life now where you can say, I want better. And because I want better, I am going to lead myself to the better. So put certain things in place, whether it be how much hours you read per day, what do you listen to per day, where do you go each day, or who do you allow to counsel you, or what do you spend your time on? Many of us can't lead ourselves because we have allowed things, entertaining things, pleasurable things, to grab the reins of our lives and lead us to where it wants to go, and we can't go anywhere because guess what? Our hands are bound, our feet is bound, and everything is bound on us, so we can't go anywhere because we have been led into a trap. Now, like Houdini, I am saying to you, unravel the cage, unravel the shackles, come out of the grave, as it were, come out of the burial situation, whether it be burial in water, burial beneath the ground, or whatever. Escape and lead yourself to greener pastures. Matter of fact, I would say it this way: let the Lord lead you to greener pastures, because as long as you have ambition, things is possible. The books you see before you is a part of my ambition. I'm not where I should be yet, but I'm still leading myself. I'm still saying to myself, as long as you have a medium for communication, as long as you can write, you will reach the destination you want to reach. Nobody is controlling the destination when you are in charge of your life. What happens when you are in charge of your life is that you are the driver. And this is something I always say to my son. I said, son, you are the driver of your life. And this is what I want to say to you at this juncture in your life. You are the driver. Lead yourself. Drive to where you want to go. And by all means necessary, create a way out. This is JAW saying to you, bye. God bless.